China's goal of 1 hour global travel now seems less like science fiction.
In a groundbreaking reveal that's set to shake the very foundations of aviation, China has unveiled a hypersonic fighter jet that doesn't just defy expectations, it reaches speeds that were once thought impossible. Imagine a machine that pushes the boundaries of flight, not just surpassing Mach 5, but shattering records in ways you could only dream of. This isn't science fiction, it's the future of air combat. But there's one astonishing twist to this jet that will leave you questioning what's really possible in aviation. What makes this fighter jet stand out from anything we've seen before? Prepare for a deep dive into China's revolutionary leap in military tech. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning of a new era. You won't want to miss what comes next. Breakthrough propulsion systems in hypersonic jets. The key to hypersonic flight is the system of propulsion, a technological powerhouse that combines various sophisticated engines into one that moves at speeds undreamed before. Its propulsion is fueled by China's Nanqiang No. 1 from the Mach engine, incorporating turbofan, rocket, and ramjet designs. This system is built to operate at different speeds effectively, going from subsonic takeoff to supersonic and ending in hypersonic flight above Mach 5. With this multi-stage propulsion, the jet can keep its speed while potentially burning less fuel and being maximally efficient.
It will evolve and become a part of the power system of this supersonic aircraft prototype.
However, it is to be determined how these systems will perform under the intense heat and pressure of hypersonic flight, particularly when traveling at speeds above Mach 6. The versatility of the Mach engine is found in how it can utilize turbofans at the beginning of flight, which are more efficient at low speeds. After the jet gains speed and crosses the sound barrier, it is taken over by the rocket engine, which supplies the thrust necessary to propel the jet past Mach 3 and higher. At hypersonic velocities, ramjets or scramjets are called for. These engines make use of the high-speed airstream produced by the aircraft, so rotating compressor blades are no longer necessary. Although the multi-stage propulsion system is capable of high-speed stability, engineers are still challenged to provide smooth changes between every stage of flight, requiring utmost accuracy. However, developing a propulsion system that can achieve these speeds is not without difficulties. One of the key challenges is managing airflow disruptions, which can cause turbulence at these speeds. The shape of the air intakes, exhaust nozzles, and engine ducts needs to be optimized so that airflow is smooth, avoiding engine flameout or instant decompression. Hypersonic aircraft will need to depend on new technologies to minimize turbulence, which might cause damage to the aircraft at such speeds. Such issues make the propulsion system one of the most important areas of hypersonic aircraft development. Whether such systems can sustain the Mach 6 and above conditions is still a subject of rigorous research and testing. While promising strides have been made with propulsion systems, there are even larger issues. How sustainable are hypersonic engines? Hypersonic aircraft are going to produce tremendous heat and need a lot of fuel to sustain such speeds. Unless these engines can be made energy efficient and use less fuel, hypersonic travel could still be impractical for regular use. Future developments in fuel sources and energy-efficient propulsion systems will decide the fate of whether hypersonic travel can become a viable commercial option or stay the domain of experimental prototypes and niche missions. The final success of hypersonic jets will not depend solely on the efficiency of propulsion, but on the larger integration of these systems into the aviation ecosystem. As we push the limits of propulsion technology, the implications of hypersonic flight go far beyond mere speed. Could this breakthrough be the key to transforming how we travel, not just within our atmosphere, but across the very edge of space? A game changer in air travel. China's invention of the Nanqiang No. 1, a Mach 6 capable hypersonic jet, has the power to revolutionize air travel itself. Although supersonic aircraft such as Concorde had already caused waves in commercial aviation, the Nanqiang No. 1 takes it a few steps higher, breaking all barriers of speed, technology, and efficiency. The concept of a jet flying from New York to London in less than an hour sounds almost too good to be true. But China is proving that such realities are no longer the domain of science fiction. This innovation is predicted to revolutionize the way we perceive international travel, allowing passengers to travel across the world in a matter of minutes, quite possibly reorganizing the whole airline business model. This innovation relies on a number of technological elements, such as the extremely specialized propulsion system at the core of the jet. The multi-stage propulsion system, wherein turbofan, rocket, and ramjet are integrated, has the advantage of a seamless progression from subsonic to hypersonic velocities with no compromise in efficiency or performance. Nevertheless, there are certain major challenges looming on the horizon. Apart from the mechanical difficulties, the flight of the jet at such phenomenal velocities, incidentally producing temperatures of 2500 degrees Celsius, is a main consideration in planning its practical applicability for use on a broad commercial scale. Can these systems withstand the stresses of routine, long-duration flights? That is still a prime question for researchers and engineers as they strive to refine the jet. While hypersonic flight holds the potential to significantly reduce travel times, several logistical and economic hurdles need to be overcome for this technology to become widespread. In the first place, development, running, and ticketing costs would make hypersonic travel inaccessible to most travelers to start with. With a mere capacity of some 10 seats, the Nankiang No. 1 is likely to be targeted towards the luxury end, where well-heeled individuals or groups could shell out such state-of-the-art flights. But might the creation of these jets inspire people to develop further interest in more price-conscious, high-speed travel in the future? The viability of hypersonic travel breaking out of the luxury market bubble will rely in large part on the ability to reduce costs through innovation and mass production. Another issue regarding hypersonic travel is the environmental cost. With hypersonic vehicles burning tremendous amounts of fuel to travel at Mach 6, 6 times the speed of sound, the environmental price might be steep, particularly in light of the increasing worries about carbon footprints and global warming. Is there a way hypersonic planes can balance between velocity, efficiency, and green credentials? This will probably be one of the most important variables to decide the extent to which such planes get used in the times to come. In addition, the sound produced by these jets at such velocities may lead to new regulations and limitations, particularly in populated regions. While China and other nations compete to advance and hone hypersonic technology, the prospect of quicker international travel will have to be balanced against environmental and regulatory factors. Will the advantages of hypersonic flight surpass the challenges it is currently facing, or will these technological wonders continue to be an elite form of transportation for the privileged few? Point-to-space travel. Point-to-space travel, in which commercial aircraft depart the atmosphere for a short time before returning to Earth to significantly shorten travel times, is a futuristic advance in aviation. The concept is to have travelers go up above the Earth's atmosphere, where they will travel at hypersonic speeds for part of the trip, avoiding conventional air routes. In theory, it would shorten a flight from New York to London to under an hour, but as tantalizing as the promise is, there are many problems to overcome. One of them is the main question of whether current aerospace technology can render such a shift from traditional flight to a space-like environment safe and practical enough for the mass market. Is the current safety framework and policy equipped to cope with the sophistication of such high-altitude, high-speed travel? At the core of point-to-space travel is the combination of several propulsion systems. Existing hypersonic technology employs a mix of turbofans, rocket motors, and ramjets to achieve speeds of extreme velocities. In point-to-space travel, though, the problem is how to lift the plane above the atmosphere before entering the high-speed phase of the flight. Would such systems be able to handle the sudden acceleration and high temperatures encountered at such heights? Compounding the issue is the necessity to create a completely new set of flight dynamics and flight path guidelines to support these high-altitude flight paths. Although initial testing has demonstrated the viability of space tourism, a commercial point-to-space system necessitates planning and investment to render it feasible for routine passenger travel. Then there is the matter of infrastructure. Hypersonic jets for point-to-space travel will need to have dedicated launch and landing facilities that can support such advanced planes safely. Existing airports just cannot cope with the acceleration, velocity, and altitude these planes will have. How will airport infrastructure have to change? Also, existing airspace regulations, particularly around inhabited areas, are not designed to handle the hazards involved in such high-speed travel. Spaceports, similar to commercial space tourism, spaceports could become a new aspect of transportation. The implementation of these new transportation centers would involve considerable regulatory effort between countries, which could create a whole new industry in aviation. Heat resistance and materials innovation. As hypersonic flight advances the limits of speed and altitude, one of the largest technological challenges is coping with the vast amounts of heat produced during flight. When an airplane flies at speeds above Mach 5, it experiences tremendous friction as it cuts through the air, heating up its surfaces to extreme temperatures. With the speeds of China's Nanqiang No. 1 jet, temperatures reach over 2,500 degrees Celsius, a temperature well in excess of the heat resistance of metals currently in use in aviation. This is where material innovation comes in to make hypersonic jets a possibility. Can existing heat-resistant materials be used for such high temperatures for extended periods of time, or will new material developments be required?
It's fast enough to fly from Beijing to New York in just a span of 2 hours.
One of the most important developments in heat resistance for hypersonic flight is the utilization of ceramic matrix composites, CMCs. CMCs have already been used in aerospace and high-performance engines, providing the strength and heat resistance needed to safeguard the structure of the jet from intense heat. Unlike metals, CMCs can retain their strength and integrity at temperatures that would melt metals such as aluminum or steel. Yet the problem is not merely that the material can withstand heat, but also its weight and performance. The engineers must weigh the lightness of the materials against their capacity to dissipate heat efficiently without sacrificing the overall performance of the aircraft. But even with sophisticated materials such as CMCs, the question remains, how will these materials hold up to the special stresses of hypersonic flight? The temperature gradients and pressure fluctuations of takeoff, flight and landing may subject these materials to extreme stress. Although CMCs are capable of withstanding high temperatures, how will they perform under sudden acceleration and deceleration, particularly at the speeds required for point-to-space travel or extended duration hypersonic flight? These unknowns make it even more crucial that material science research continues, since the dependability of these materials will be instrumental in the success and safety of the aircraft. Further, as the competition for hypersonic flight is underway, it is interesting to surmise how materials innovation could possibly revolutionize other aspects of aerospace and space travel. Would such advanced materials possibly move beyond commercial and military aviation and into aerospace exploration? To take an example, could hypersonic jet material be used someday in reusable space shuttles or spacecraft meant to survive Earth's atmospheric re-entry? As materials technology advances, the potential grows, potentially opening the door to breakthroughs not just in aviation, but in other high-tech applications that demand extreme heat tolerance, including energy generation and next-generation manufacturing technologies. The contribution of material science to the future of hypersonic flight and beyond is irrefutable. Environmental challenges of hypersonic flight. As hypersonic jets push the boundaries of speed and efficiency, they also raise significant environmental concerns that must be addressed for widespread adoption. These aircraft, capable of reaching speeds beyond Mach 5, will require immense amounts of fuel to maintain such high velocities, which could significantly increase their carbon footprint. Currently, hypersonic flight fuel will likely be significantly higher than conventional commercial airliners, or even supersonic aircraft such as Concorde. Higher fuel demand, in addition to a shortage of existing infrastructure for sustainable fuel production, fuels the crucial question: how will hypersonic flight become environmentally sustainable given the heightened worldwide focus on climate change? The environmental footprint of hypersonic flight goes beyond fuel usage. These aircraft would have to fly high, where they might disproportionately affect the ozone layer. The gases expelled at that height could engage with the upper atmosphere in a manner that would prove harmful to ozone preservation. Further, the speeds at which these jets operate, above 2,500 degrees Celsius, are so high that they might introduce additional problems, such as particulate emissions that add to air pollution. This creates a considerable challenge for both engineers and environmental scientists. Will we be able to create alternate propulsion mechanisms or fuels to lower the environmental cost of hypersonic travel? Or will it ultimately remain unsustainable for mass commercial application?
China ahead in the global race for hypersonic passenger travel.
Another urgent environmental problem concerns noise pollution. Hypersonic aircraft will create enormous sonic booms that will be significantly larger than those generated by supersonic planes. Those shockwaves could be invasive on not just the communities of the flight route, but on ecosystems and wildlife too. In contrast to commercial airplanes, which are already under strict regulations for noise pollution in some areas, hypersonic aircraft will probably be under even more stringent noise regulations. The possibility of sonic booms interfering with the lives of residents along flight paths may lead to widespread public resistance, hindering the mass adoption of this technology. Will noise reduction technologies be capable of counteracting the built-in problem of hypersonic speeds? Or will this restrict where hypersonic flights can be flown? In addition, the worldwide regulatory framework for hypersonic flight remains immature, which may be a limiting factor in making headway in this field. Governments and international organizations will have to decide how to control the environmental footprint of hypersonic planes via new rules on fuel efficiency, emissions, and noise pollution. Current aviation regulation is not yet ready to cope with the unprecedented speeds and environmental influence hypersonic planes will introduce. How will nations collaborate to create all-encompassing standards for hypersonic flight? And can such regulations successfully weigh environmental concerns against the technological needs of this new generation of flight? These environmental issues will be a key factor in deciding if hypersonic travel is a feasible, sustainable means for the future of aviation. The environmental challenges of hypersonic flight might just be the tip of the iceberg. What if this cutting-edge technology leads to an entirely new era of luxury air travel? The exclusive market for hypersonic air travel. As hypersonic jets, such as the Nankiang No. 1, break new ground in air travel, there can be little doubt that they have the ability to revolutionize the aviation sector. Their expense and restricted ability to carry passengers, though, limit their appeal to a niche market, at least in the short term. Carrying a capacity of just around 10 individuals, these planes are hardly commercial airliners that can carry hundreds of passengers at one time. This limited capacity and the staggering cost of developing and maintaining such planes means that hypersonic air travel will most likely stay within the luxury market in the foreseeable future. The question then is, who will be able to pay for this next generation of travel, and how will this new market define aviation's future? For the financially secure elite, the government elite, and corporations who can afford to invest, hypersonic flights will become a beacon of technological excellence, providing unequaled velocity and luxury. The thrill of being able to fly from New York to London in under 1 hour would have immense appeal for business executives and ultra-high net worth individuals who value the acceleration and premium status. But as the technology improves and economies of scale are realized, the cost per flight may decline over time, perhaps making way for a wider, albeit still upscale, market. Will the mass adoption of hypersonic flights ever filter down to the masses? Or will they forever be an elite indulgence? Another problem with hypersonic air travel is that these planes will probably be employed mainly for high-priority missions, including government or military missions, which would provide a handsome rate of return on investment in terms of improved efficiency and strategic position.
The weapon reportedly developed for China's Air Force could pose a major threat to military aircrafts globally.
Military uses, such as rapid troop deployment or reconnaissance missions, might be worthwhile to spend money on these specialized aircraft. Equally, high-value freight transportation would be able to tap into similar high-tech aircraft, where capacity is secondary to speed. But as the technology is developed, might we eventually see commercial uses for hypersonic flight in tourism, or even private space travel industries? As the need for more efficient, quicker air travel expands, the niche quality of this market might transform. The hypersonic air travel market poses several questions on a wider scale. How will existing airlines compete against the prospect of essentially instant globe-hopping travel? As technology in hypersonic aviation advances, will it inspire existing aviation businesses to innovate, or even precipitate the establishment of new players solely dedicated to high-speed air travel? Will regulatory bodies change to support this new category of aircraft? And if they do, how might they redefine international travel? With the direction that hypersonic technology is taking, the initial market will be catered to by the richest passengers. But it is conceivable that advances in manufacturing and fuel efficiency will reduce the cost at some point, enabling these planes to penetrate new markets. The elitism of hypersonic flight may be short-lived, but for the time being, it is a thrilling and high-end niche of the aviation market. Global power struggle for hypersonic dominance. The hypersonic competition is not merely a contest in technological development, but a geopolitically charged competition. All nations such as China, Russia, the United States, and India are aggressively pursuing hypersonic technology as they perceive it as a critical aspect of future military and economic influence. China's Nanqiang No. 1 jet, which can fly at Mach 6, is merely one instance of the country's drive to rule the skies. But Russia's avant-garde hypersonic missile and the United States' DARPA and privately funded programs also indicate a global arms race in the area. What does this imply for international relations? Will hypersonic technology be the new arena for worldwide influence? Just as nuclear capability was in the 20th century, the capability to deliver hypersonic missiles or aircraft confers vast strategic benefits, especially in the realm of the military. Hypersonic missiles, for instance, are extremely hard to intercept because they travel so fast and are capable of sharp maneuvers, and this makes them highly desirable as an option for defense systems. States possessing the capability could change the power balance so that current defense systems become defunct. Hypersonic technology provides not just a military advantage in terms of dominance, but may also accelerate the speed and efficiency of military logistics and communications, offering tremendous benefits in terms of rapid deployment or surveillance. For how long will it take before hypersonic technology becomes a part of military strategy around the world? Will it give rise to new arms control treaties or to increased military buildup?
And our next story is about China's new hypersonic missile.
On the civilian front, the possibility of hypersonic flight revolutionizing the way people travel around the world has also attracted private investment. Virgin Galactic, SpaceX, and other entities are already making inroads in private space travel and high-speed flight, with the hope that breakthroughs in the field of hypersonic technology may eventually find commercial use. The question is, however, whether nations will open this breakthrough technology to the private sector or limit access based on national security considerations. Will the hypersonic technology race create new trade barriers as nations seek to develop and control these valuable technologies, or will international collaboration result in a rapid rate of discovery and commercialization? The issue of intellectual property and sharing of technology will probably be at the center of this competition. Hypersonic technology is extremely sophisticated, with high-order materials, science, propulsion engineering, and advanced computational modeling. Nations that make breakthroughs in these fields will want to safeguard their intellectual property for military gain. But as technology advances, the potential for other nations to catch up may result in a diffusion of knowledge, which might level the playing field. Might the global competition create unforeseen partnerships or even incite diplomatic tensions around control of these game changers? As geopolitical currents surrounding hypersonic technology play out, it will be intriguing to see how it redefines defense planning and commercial businesses across the globe. overcoming regulatory and safety barriers. As hypersonic aircraft technology moves forward, navigating the regulatory landscape, especially issues of safety and operational standards, will be among the biggest hurdles. The nature of hypersonic jets, whose speeds can achieve Mach 6 or more, is such that existing aviation laws are not poised to address the risks and problems that these vehicles will pose. Pre-existing safety measures, emergency protocols, and air traffic management systems were created for subsonic and supersonic aircraft, so adding hypersonic jets to the skies is a significant new challenge. How will regulatory agencies create new guidelines that will keep people safe while making these high-speed planes efficient and responsible? The safety considerations of hypersonic flight are extremely complicated, considering the speeds, altitudes, and temperatures involved. For instance, how do we guarantee that the aircraft can decelerate safely from hypersonic speeds or even cope with mid-air emergencies like an engine failure? Hypersonic jets will have to employ advanced safety mechanisms that can operate optimally at speeds over Mach 5, where the flow dynamics of air, pressure, and heat are radically different from those faced by traditional jets. Might involve an entire overhaul of flight crew training, emergency procedures, and even aircraft cabin design, since passengers will encounter forces and conditions never previously faced in commercial flight. Will current flight restrictions be modified to accommodate these new realities, or must completely new frameworks be established? In addition, hypersonic aircraft will pose enormous air traffic control issues. The existing system for controlling aircraft is based on fairly predictable flight paths and speeds, but hypersonic planes will fly at speeds many times greater than any existing commercial airliner. The danger of collision, miscommunication, or even simply managing the flow of high-speed aircraft safely will probably necessitate fundamental changes in the way airspace is allocated and controlled. Special technologies, including real-time monitoring and advanced communication systems, will be required to monitor and control hypersonic flights to avoid crashes. Will air traffic controllers be able to deal with jets that fly at Mach 6 speeds? And can global aviation organizations come to a consensus on the new airspace regulations that hypersonic flights will require? Lastly, public acceptance of hypersonic travel may be the greatest impediment. With any great technological advance, there is going to be fear on the part of the public concerning the safety of the aircraft, the risk of accidents, and the effects on communities along the flight routes, especially considering the tremendous sonic booms associated with jets flying at such high speeds. Mitigating these issues will be essential not just for regulatory clearance, but also for the mass acceptance of hypersonic air travel. Will governments and regulators be able to reassure the public, or will the safety issues be too great a hurdle for the commercialization of hypersonic technology? As the sector evolves, scientists, engineers, and policymakers will have to work together to design regulations that guarantee safety without suppressing innovation. Revolutionizing military strategy with hypersonic speed. Hypersonic technology holds the key to radically shifting the paradigm of contemporary military warfare, with heretofore unknown levels of speed, maneuverability, and capacity for hitting hard and fast. Hypersonic missiles, currently in development in nations such as the United States, Russia, and China, can reach velocities in excess of Mach 5.
Home to a new state-of-the-art Mach 7 wind tunnel, a key tool in helping the U.S. catch up to China and Russia,
making it almost impossible to defend against conventional defense measures. Their high velocity enables them to travel immense distances in a matter of fractions of the time, and hence may make existing missile defense systems obsolete. How will defense systems adapt to address such advanced threats? And will countries possessing hypersonic capability end up with a crushing strategic edge? One of the most significant implications of hypersonic technology is the ability for rapid global strike. A hypersonic weapon would be able to strike any point on the planet with pinpoint accuracy and devastating force within a matter of minutes. This would fundamentally change the nature of military strategy, prioritizing speed and surprise over prolonged battles. Hypersonic speeds also bring new challenges to defense forces, who would need to modify tactics in order to counter these rapid, high-velocity attacks. Will we see the creation of a new generation of defensive systems tailored to hit hypersonic missiles, or will the future involve a return to offense-predominant military tactics? In addition, the use of hypersonic technology in military contexts also creates new ethical and regulatory issues. While countries are pushing ahead with these next-generation weapons, it is critical to consider how their use would affect international security and stability. The potential for a quick attack without notice could trigger a new arms race that might fuel tension between competing countries. In addition, if hypersonic weapons are used in warfare, the rapidity with which decisions are taken and implemented might make human observation and international treaties harder to maintain. Can international treaties be set in place to govern the utilization of hypersonic technology, or will states focus more on military dominance than worldwide arms control? Military strategists, policymakers, and international institutions will have to grapple with these intricate matters as hypersonic technology becomes more advanced. Hypersonic tech is already changing military strategy. Now, it's set to take us beyond Earth's atmosphere and into uncharted space territory. Hypersonic technology and space exploration. The coming together of space exploration and hypersonic technology creates new horizons for both sectors and can fundamentally alter the way we perceive and engage with space. Hypersonic velocities, which are those greater than Mach 5, would significantly shorten journey time to orbit and beyond. Space travel today is constrained by the performance of traditional propulsion systems, which take a long time to reach orbit. However, incorporating hypersonic propulsion technologies, ramjets and scramjets, into space vehicles could provide much faster and more efficient access to low Earth orbit, LEO. This could drastically alter the economics of space exploration, enabling space travel to be more routine and accessible. How could these cutting-edge propulsion technologies shape the next generation of space missions? And might they be able to deliver human exploration to far-off worlds in a percentage of the time it was assumed would be needed? One of the largest obstacles to space exploration using hypersonic technology is withstanding the incredibly high temperatures and aerodynamic stresses that exist when re-entering. With hypersonic spacecraft entering Earth's atmosphere at blistering speeds, they produce incredible heat through air friction, and this can weaken the structure of the vehicle. The creation of materials that can withstand such extreme temperatures, including advanced ceramic composites, is essential to hypersonic space exploration vehicle success. Can these materials not only safeguard spacecraft during re-entry, but also be light and strong enough to be reused repeatedly, enabling reusable spacecraft that are affordable for government and commercial missions? The battle for innovations in material science can be a determinant of the feasibility of hypersonic space vehicles. If you found this reveal as mind-blowing as we did, don't forget to hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more groundbreaking updates. Be sure to watch the next video on the screen for even more thrilling tech advancements. Thanks for tuning in.